Hello everyone, welcome to my lesson all about the 5 food groups. So we're going to go ahead and start with our target for the day. So our target is that by the end of our lesson, I can identify all 5 food groups and which foods belong in them. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to do that, and we're going to make sure of it by having an exit slip and practicing along the way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with a little bit of a warm-up. So if everybody could get out a notebook or anything else to write on and a pencil or pen, I'll give everyone a second to do that. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time, but we'll wait a few seconds. Okay, so first of all, you don't have to write this part down, but I'm going to ask everyone, go ahead and think of your favorite foods, and then think what group these might go into, what category you might consider these foods. This is just to get us thinking about what we think the food groups might be, so take a second and think about those. And then we're going to go ahead and write down your guesses of what you think the 5 main food groups are. Take your best guess. It's okay if you don't even get to 5. Just think about what groups you think might categorize different types of food and write down your guesses. And then we're going to see if you're right when I reveal them on the next slide. And if you're not sure, that's totally okay, because that's what we're going to be learning about today. So go ahead, take a second and do that. Again, pause the video if you need more time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to show you all what the 5 food groups are. So the first one is vegetables. Then we have fruits. We have proteins, dairy, and last, grains. Alright, so now these are the 5 food groups. We'll go through all of them individually, and I'm going to talk about which foods belong in all these food groups, as well as the benefits and how much of these foods you should have in your diet every day. Alright, so the first group we're going to talk about is vegetables. So the foods included in vegetables could be carrots, broccoli, peas, and peppers. Bell peppers are what are the peppers that are in these pictures. Go ahead, take a second, write down in your notebook what one more food is that you think might go into this group. Take your best guess. If you can't think of anything, that's okay. But think of another thing, another vegetable, and write it down. Alright, so you should be having about 1 to 3 cups of vegetables every day. They're a great source of potassium, as well as vitamin A, which is really beneficial for your skin and eyes, and also vitamin C, which is great for your teeth and gums. So vegetables are a pretty important part of your day. Alright, next we're going to move on to fruits. So what can be included in the fruit category are apples, bananas, blueberries, and strawberries. Again, take a second, go ahead and write down in your notebook one more fruit that you can think of that would go into the fruit category. If you can't think of anything, leave it blank, but take your best guess. Alright, let's move on. So as for fruits, we need about 1 to 2 cups of fruit every day in your diet. They're a great source of fiber, as well as vitamin C, which, just like in vegetables, as we talked about, help your teeth and gums, and all the nutrients that you get from fruits in general help heal wounds and prevent you from getting different types of diseases. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on. Next up is proteins. So an example of proteins could be eggs, could be any type of nuts, could also be something like beef or steak, whatever, or chicken. So proteins can also be any type of meat. So take that and use that to help you write down, again, one more thing that would go in the protein category, specifically any other type of meats you can think of or anything else you think that might be in the protein category. Alright, for proteins, we're going to need about 2 to 6 ounces a day, which doesn't sound like too much, but a little bit goes a long way. And obviously, given the name being proteins, Proteins are a great source of protein in your diet, surprise. They also give you a lot of vitamin B, and both of these things are the building blocks for your bones, muscles, cartilage, skin, and blood. So obviously, proteins are a very important part of helping lots of different parts of your body. All right, next category is dairy. Dairy can include milk or pretty much anything that is made of milk. So that includes cheese and also yogurt. So go ahead, again, take a minute, write down anything, any other food you think might go in the dairy group, anything else that's made of milk, or anything else you can think of. Okay, so for dairy, you need about 2 to 6 ounces a day again. Again, a little bit goes a long way. Dairy, the main source, or the main thing that you're getting from dairy is that it's a great source of calcium, which is very important to help keep your bones strong and make them strong. So you want to make sure you get a good amount of dairy every day, and it also is a great source of vitamin D. The next category is grains, the next and last category. So grains include bread, oats, or in this case, oatmeal, rice, and last but not least, cereal. So again, one more time, take a second, write down whatever other food you think might go in the grains category. I'll give everyone a minute to do that. Okay, awesome. For grains, you need about 3 to 8 ounces a day, and the most important thing you get from grains is a good amount of fiber, which is very helpful, helps you digest all your food. And you obviously get a bunch of different types of vitamins and minerals from grains, but the most important thing is the fiber that you would get. To review, we're going to do one more little activity. So to remember the groups, there's vegetables, fruits, proteins, dairy, and grains. So everyone go ahead and take one more minute-ish. Go ahead and write down your favorite foods from each category. So if you can't think of one, if you really don't like any vegetables, that's okay. You can just write down one you remember. But try to think of what your favorite food from each of these categories would be, and I'll give everybody a little bit of time to write it. If you need more time than I give, go ahead and pause the video as usual. Personally, my favorite fruit is apples. My favorite vegetables are carrots. My favorite protein is probably peanut butter. My favorite dairy is probably cheese, and my favorite grains is any type of bread. So if that helps you get a little inspiration, there you go. Those are all my favorites. And I think that about wraps up our lesson for the day. So at least just a reminder, you're going to have an exit slip. It'll be linked after this video. It's just a Google form, and I need you to fill it out so that I know you understand all 5 food groups. It's a quiz, so there's about 6 points, but don't worry, this is just for me to see if you understood. Thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.